Hello, I'm Nikita Ross, and I'm here on a Tuesday. Can you believe that? The week of Turkey Week. I'm here on a Tuesday because tomorrow is extremely busy at the salon. And Candice and I will be getting our coin.
Yes, thou shall get thy coin.
Yes, everybody going to be ready for Thanksgiving. So we decided to do it tonight, Talk Tuesday. And today we're talking about being perfectly imperfect.
Right.
Perfectly imperfect. In this world where on Instagram, social media, we're curating, we're narrating these perfect lives. We're really being behind the scenes, being transparent, and talking about, being perfectly imperfect.
Right.
And I think it's so important right now because it's holiday season.
Right.
And so many people around the holiday season, it's a peak for depression.
Right. Depression, suicide, all of that.
Yeah.
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 Because in those moments around the holidays, that's your time when your loved ones, you guys get together. If you have a special boo thing, your husband, your children. And it also, I feel like, especially for single people, it also highlights to you when you want to be at a certain place with the spouse or with the child or, to have this family and you don't have those things. I think it brings highlight to that. And I was looking, it's so funny you said that too. I was looking on Instagram at Dr. Arisha Hilliard's Insta story, and she had this thing in her Insta story, for things to do throughout the holidays if you're a single person. And one of the things she said is, if you're single, take this time to go have dinner by yourself. Take this time to have a Friendsgiving. Take this time to go catch a Rockets game or go catch a Texans game. And I when I read that, I was like, this is interesting, but it's so true because you can get in that slump of thinking about where I should be. Or if you're on social media and people are posting their family Thanksgiving and their Christmas and their that.
Family pictures.
Family
and all
photos. But in this season that you have in your life, to enjoy that season, because in life we have seasons. It's a time to be single, it's a time to be married, it's a time when you grow old and you separate, God may take your spouse home. But in that single season, to remind yourself to still enjoy, to be happy, to love on yourself, cuddle yourself, get with your friends, get with other friends, and you guys cuddle each other to get each other through those times. So I thought that was so powerful when I saw that I was like, wow, that's amazing. She's right. Like, this is a time to where you should gravitate toward that somebody or your friend or you're just yourself, because a lot of times too, some people have issues with just being by themselves. It's true. Touchy. We don't want to talk about it, but
no, it's true.
Loving self is
true.
It's a difficult thing.
Being by yourself and loving yourself is a difficult thing, and it seems so cliche, and it seems like, oh, I'm cool with myself. But if you're always like trying to be with someone, or always trying to stay at work, or always trying to keep busy, you scared to be by yourself and be with your own thoughts, like being still.
But being still, I hate to take everybody to church. I'm sorry, guys. But being still and being in that quiet place is usually when God can speak to you and you're still enough to hear his voice. I literally feel like anytime that I'm down or I have a downtime or I'm in a quiet place, so many things come from that. Number one, I can hear, I can listen. I like to read during that quiet space. And some of the greatest ideas that I come up with are in that quiet space because your mind, your body, everything is at ease. And you can take the time to listen to, okay, what are you saying? What are you telling me to do? I'm here. I'm listening, because we run so much. And when you're running and you're in that rat race and you're being a mom and you're being a girl boss and you being this and you're being that, how can you hear it? Because it's too much noise.
My favorite thing is sitting in the airport. Like, I'm that person who can actually go to the airport 2 or 3 hours early. It never happens in Houston. It only happens when I'm in another city and I'm anxious to get back home. But I get so much work done. And I clear my mind, and I'm able to really be still and get some things done. Get a lot of clarity. Some things are clarified in my mind. Some things are organized. Sometimes my mind is super chaotic. Super chaotic. Like, outside, it looks perfect. But inside it's some madness going on. And not in a bad way, just like, okay, when I get home, I got to do this. What about this? What about that? Plan it next week, plan it next month. But sitting in the airport, being still, being in that moment, and not rushing.
Right.
Not rushing, you know. Or when the flight is delayed another hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's rare that I'm the one that's like, oh my God, another hour. It's rare that's me, because I'm like, more time for me
to do me.
Because I know when I get home, I'm back to the rat race.
Right. You got back to mom, back to the 360, back to the icon, back to the
But sitting in the airport, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do if I'm all the way in Michigan and there's a fight in Texas? I can't do anything.
Right.
So I'm able to be still and just be in that moment.
Right.
And we have to find, but it's a shame though. I need to be better with finding that moment right here.
Right. Yes.
You know, like I shouldn't have to get on a plane and be stuck in the airport in Phoenix to get something done. You know, I need to be a little more control over those moments here, because I'm not. Because I'm so in the moment trying to do everything else.
I was just going to say, because I think we feel like we're just such an octopus, especially women that have a lot going on. Like I say, you're a mom, you're a business owner, you're all of these things. You become such an octopus that you don't say, well, what about me? What about my time for me? What about time for me to recharge? It's not until we have ran ourselves completely down, we're sick, we're under the weather, we're tired, we're stressed out, we're eating poorly because we're running, or we're not eating at all because we didn't have time, that we don't stop to say, hey, I have to make the time for me, to take care of me, because I'm guilty of it too. Like I'm moving, shaking, going, I'm like, oh, my stomach's growling. Yeah, well, how about you didn't eat today?
Right. And how about you over here eating all of my Pringles?
Right.
For the Pringles, right?
For the snacks.
But I want to talk about this perfectly imperfect, right? We, a few days ago, like 5 days ago, Kim Porter died.
Right.
So you look at her life on the outside looking in.
Right.
And you look at it like, okay, first of all, she's Puffy's baby mama. He's wealthy, so she's good. She has 3 kids for him.
Right.
She's straight. She's beautiful.
Right.
And you thinking like everything is right.
Right.
You know, and we don't know the cause of death or anything like that, but you just think everything is perfect in our world.
Right.
And obviously it wasn't.
No.
For the death to be so sudden and so tragic.
Right.
But then when you look at your own life and look at some of the things in your life that are imperfect.
Right.
They're not quite the way you want them to be. But I think the best thing is to understand that life is about imperfection.
Right. Yeah.
Because when the perfect plan is deviated or deterred or different from what you mapped out, how do you react to that?
Well, I think too, the funniest quote my grandmother used to say, the best way to make God laugh is to have this perfect plan. Because we set out now, I do feel like in life that you have to have goals. You have to have a plan. You have to have something that you're working toward. You can't be wandering aimlessly. But I feel like in life, those curveballs that you're thrown while you're walking through the plan, that's what truly makes you the essence of who you are. Because, like you say, on the outside looking in, using Kim for an example, well, model, actress, you know, you have kids with a multimillionaire, and she had been sick. According to reports, she had been sick, going back and forth, you know, to the doctor. It was like a cold and then like pneumonia. And then her friends were like, but I just saw you yesterday. I just talked to you yesterday. And now you're gone. But that's how precious that life is that in an instant, in a second, that you can be gone. And for those people who didn't know, like, she didn't even, I saw one of her friends commented and said, she didn't even say she was sick. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I just thought she had a cold. I just thought, you never know what someone else is really going through under those layers of what they're portraying that their life is to be. And so for me, I think about my life, and I think about when I was diagnosed with the cancer and coming off my 35th birthday, and I had this amazing party.
And it was looking perfect. And it was going right.
My life was going perfect and was looking right. I'm working at a company and I'm starting my own business and things are going great. And then I have all these plans of all of these things that are going to take place in the upcoming year. And the whole plan was deviated.
Pause. So you said life. You have to have goals. You can't be wandering around aimlessly.
Right.
But then on the flip side of it, we have to be flexible.
We do.
We have to be flexible.
You have to.
And so when things don't go the way we want them to go, we can't just say, "Oh, I'm not doing it anymore."
No, you have.
I changed my mind. I'll stop.
You can't.
I'm not going to do it. You have to be flexible and willing to
persevere.
Right. And deal with the detours.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with the roadblocks.
Right.
You know? Deal with the delays. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there may be a delay.
And sometimes I tell people too, just because something is delayed, it doesn't mean it's denied.
Facts.
And I think people get the two mixed up. Oh, this isn't happening in the time when I want it to happen, or this didn't do what I needed to do. Keep pushing and keep moving forward. But just because it was delayed in that time, that probably just wasn't your time or your season for where you thought that you should be. And you never know. But it's so funny to me too, because it's just like that wreck in the road. And you were like, why was I running so late for work that morning? Why was I so late? Why was that so late? And you get on the road and it's 3 cars flipped over. But what if you would have been on time? Because that wasn't your time and that wasn't your season. So just because whatever you have planned is delayed, it doesn't mean it's denied. So if you know that that's where you're supposed to be and that's what you're supposed to be doing, you got to keep pushing forward. You got to speak those words of affirmation into your life every day. God, yes, today I don't have 3 Tresor Cachet boutiques, but God, I know in 2020, I'm going to have 3 Tresor Cachet boutiques. God, I didn't in this year and I didn't make this, but you know what, God, I'm still going to move forward in what it is I'm doing. I'm still going to challenge myself and you to bring me to where I need to be. I'm still going to continue to sow those seeds to get that growth out of the ground to get to where I need to be. Because sometimes we're just like, oh, it didn't go the way I wanted to go. Oh, well, I didn't think I was going to be laid on the table for 10 hours having surgery and not being able to talk, eat, drink, and any of this stuff. But hey, I still want to do my boutique. I'm still moving forward. Are you crazy? What you gonna do? Yes, I am crazy because I got crazy faith. I got big faith. And that's just how I roll. So yes, I'm moving forward. Yes, this is what I want to do. Just because it didn't happen in this time, that's because it wasn't God's time. Right. It was my time. And see, we get the two mixed up because we try to get on our clock. And it's not our clock.
No, it's not.
It's his clock. Even when we're like, really? Because that's how me and the Lord talk. Really? Okay, so that's how you running that? Oh, so we're doing this right here, right now. But I kind of thought I was doing this over here, right now. And he's like, no, not at this time and not in this season. I have you in this place because this is where I need you to be. And sometimes it's not even only for you. It's he needs to use you to get somebody else. So if he has to sacrifice someone to get the 20, then sometimes you got to be the one.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to take one for the team.
Sometimes you just have to be the one. And you're like, really? Like, how did this happen? And then someone comes up to you and they say, I saw you this. And then another person comes and say, I saw when God did that. And you're like, oh, okay. So that's why I had to go here and we had to do this and I had to do that. Or he'll put you in this place to prepare you sometimes for that next place. Because you may think you're prepared, but you're really not.
So let's talk about your next place.
So for me, for my next place, I said to my little cousins have been just on me that you need to really get into I keep saying, why do you guys want me to do this YouTube channel? I don't want to do this YouTube channel.
You have to.
I don't have time for this.
You'll make time.
So I said, but you make time for what it is that you really want to do.
You do.
So for me in my next space, I really want to get to more of a virtual world for myself and for my business. And just so people know who I am and what I have to offer. Not that the boutique is more than a boutique. That it's just not a store. That there's so much more that comes with Candice Easley. There's so much more that comes with Tresor Cachet than just buying clothes. There is a story that God has took me through some major things. And in 2019, it's time for me to tell that story. It's time.
Come on, story.
It's time for me to tell that story. It's time for me to be able to allow God to use me as that mouthpiece to say, yeah, you went here and you told these people and you said that, but this year I want you to do something bigger and better. I'm working on something really, really big for April. April is Oral Cancer Awareness Month. And I feel like people, when I talk about oral cancer and I talk about where God brought me from and how I couldn't talk and eat or drink or any of this stuff, that people see the now.
Perfection.
They see the perfect, but they don't know that every day I deal with the imperfect. Every day I deal with what my voice really sounds like without a highly sophisticated $4,500 mouthpiece. I hear
without all that practice.
They hear without the practice and they hear
therapy.
what it sounds like when I'm able to put the prosthesis in and what my voice sounds like. But in April, in Oral Cancer Awareness Month, I'm gonna take that time to remove the layers, and I want the world to hear what oral cancer, what the aftermath really sounds like. So I'm working on a project with Tony Visuals. You guys stay tuned. But I'm gonna do a PSA for oral cancer awareness, and I'm gonna do a live talk. It won't be live. It'll be a video because it'll circulate, because I want people to hear and understand what that imperfect is, what this voice really sounds like without a prosthesis, because it doesn't sound like this. This is not what my family gets at home. This is not what my friends get when we stay together extended days. I have to take this prosthesis out, and I can't eat, I can't drink, I could barely talk, I sound like a mushmouth. But people need to hear that, because they need to understand that also, although on this outer shell and what you see of where God brought me from, still every day I'm humbled and reminded from where I came from every day. So that's coming up next year, 2019. It's
Get
scary,
ready.
but I'm excited.
That's something.
Yeah.
I think their prosthesis, their PSA, really going to bring a lot of awareness to this particular type of cancer. A lot of people don't really know about oral cancer. No. I know myself personally. I had never heard of it. I had never heard of anyone affected by it until you were affected by it. And like you said, like your mouth, speaking, eating, so many things. Something as simple as, this is a married woman, kissing.
Yeah.
This is a whole married woman. we're talking about intimacy. A lot of things are affected by this. A lot of things. So, for them just to hear you.
Yeah, I need them to hear me. And I need them, I need for people to hear it, and I need them to understand that every day that I am left with the aftermath of what this cancer did. And I need them to know, though, every day, though, I roll in faith over fear. Every day. Because it's so funny. The last time I was here, I had reached out to my insurance agent about getting an additional insurance policy. And I already have insurance. Thankfully, God, I'm covered and I'm good to go on my life insurance. And I had policies set into place before I was diagnosed with cancer. But it really brought back to me how aggressive, how dangerous that this thing that I dealt with really was. When my insurance agent came back to me and she told me she couldn't insure me. I can't insure you. What you have is so rare. What you have is so known to come back that they won't even let me insure you. Come back in 10 years. When it's been 10 years, come back. So basically what you're telling me, insurance company, is I'm not going to gamble because I don't think that your life is even going to make it past 10 years.
We might have to cash out. We might have to pay.
We might have to pay.
And because
you might not make it.
You're high risk.
But God. It's so amazing. So
ultimate
amazing.
agent.
The ultimate agent.
The
ultimate agent. So I'm so just elated that God is so amazing. And that he puts you in positions and lines things up to make sure, even in our mind, even in my thoughts. And it's so funny because one of the policies I have, I was like, I go. And then I was like, no, let me keep that. Let me keep paying. God's wisdom. You never know where, how, what you need to be.
He's constantly making provisions, though.
Always making provisions.
Because when that happened, when the lady said, okay, hey, we can't insure you. I know that stung.
Oh.
It stung. You know, it stung a little bit. And it made you say, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, really, like you saying, like, it's a likelihood that this cancer can come back.
You
know this.
Right.
But because you rolling with faith over fear, you denounce it. You denounce it.
Yeah.
But every now and then, people have to put it in your face, right?
Yeah.
They have to bring it back to the forefront. No matter how much you try to put it to the back.
Right.
They bring it back to the forefront and say, no.
Yeah. You had that.
Yeah, the likelihood of this coming back is very high. It's not slim. It's high. For this reason, we're not going to insure you.
Yeah.
But instead of you just being down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it hurt.
Yeah.
I'm sure it bothered you.
It did.
But instead of being down in the dumps and moping about it for days, I think he gave you did about 30 minutes to 60 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Because you called me.
Yes.
He was like, can you believe this?
I'm like, this is
But then
crazy.
on the flip side of it, it's about mindset and perspective.
Yes.
It's about that because even though with the imperfection of having cancer and being a cancer survivor,
right?
Look how perfect God is.
Amazing.
He always provides. He had this insurance policy still.
Right.
You know, and it's like, thank God I still had this policy.
Right.
Because a lot of times in situations and circumstances, we find ourselves harping over the negative.
Right.
And not focusing on the positive.
Right.
And, you know, you say, you know what, friend? I'm going to go back in 8 years.
Yeah, I go back. I'm running back.
Yeah, because by that time,
I'm still gonna be
you're
alive.
at year 2 now. You're at year 2. So in 8 years, it'll be 10. I'm going to still be here kicking, and y'all going to insure me.
And that's
just having that attitude.
Right. And I went and I wrote down in my little journal, because like you said, it stung a little bit. And I said, I went and I wrote 10 times, I will live and not die. 10 times, I will live and not die.
So tell me this, why did you write it? Because I'm a writer.
I wrote it.
But why did you write it?
See that.
Yes. Seeing is believing.
I needed to see
Seeing
that.
is believing.
And I needed to write that thing down. The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain.
Make it plain.
So to see that on that paper, although in my mind I said, wow, this is crazy. So yeah, these people are telling me that this thing, that they're just announcing that this thing's going to come back. And I said, man, I have to bind the works of the enemy. I bind the works of negative thoughts. I bind the works of any cancerous cell in my body. So I wrote that down. I should live and not die. And I will live and I will not die. And I take that thing out and I look at it every now and again. And I've been looking at it ever since. I will live and not die. I will live and not die. Sure. But sometimes you have to look at that thing. That's why another powerful thing, affirmations are powerful.
Oh man, affirmations are amazing.
Affirmations are power and affirmations are so amazing. I started with the boutique doing this thing, Thought-Provoking Thursday. And the funny thing is, I started Thought-Provoking Thursday not for the TCB babes. I started it for me. I did. I was in a place and I said, you can't be here. You can't be here. You can't abide here. You can't hang out here. You can't run right here. So we're going to speak every week a positive thing. We're going to speak life to your situation. We're going to speak life into your circumstance every week. You're going to speak it. You're going to write it. And you're going to share it. And you're going to touch somebody else with it. And the responses that I started getting,
600, 900.
600 and 900 likes, 30 comments about, oh my God, you don't understand how I needed this. So here I am thinking I need to do something for me.
And you're blessing other people.
And God using me to bless somebody else.
Because it really was your therapy. It was really to get you back on track.
Candice, you got to get yourself back together. And in my thoughts of me getting myself together and me seeing these affirmations for my life, for my business, for my family, and God is like, oh, you think this is about you? Oh, no. You got 18,000 people that's looking at what you're doing. And I said, when I post that first one, and I said, oh my God, 700 and something likes, 30 something comments. And I sat in bed one morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, responded to every single one, liked or responded to every single thing. And it was this lady DM me. She said, you don't know how you touched me. You don't know how I needed to hear what you put on that Instagram today. I just want to tell you that I thank you and I needed it. And I wrote it back. I said, you don't know how I needed what I wrote it. You don't know how I needed to hear what you just wrote to me. That God has me somewhere where I need to be to use me to start this Thought-Provoking Thursday for myself, and that how I didn't understand how much it blessed you. Yeah. But that's where he needed for me to be.
Yeah. And
for you.
He was basically just telling you. It was a reminder.
Yeah.
Just saying you have to be strong.
Right.
Because people count on you.
Yeah.
And it may be something as simple as an affirmation. But people need that from you. Yeah. So you can't be down in the dumps.
Oh, no.
Not for long.
You don't have time. 30 minutes, 60 minutes. This is 90 minutes at best. Yeah. After that, you got to keep moving. There's no time for that.
Because Candice and I work together. So we both were kind of having a crazy week simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, friends, so next week we're going to do better. But this week we can cuss, we can fuss. Like, we can do that. We can share horror stories.
Right.
Can you believe it? What about, and did you think, and it's like, but what, next week is game face. We got to be pre-game.
We got to get going.
December 1 coming.
We got to be ready.
And we got to end this year with a bang.
Yes.
You got to start prepping and pre-gaming for next year. So, only for a minute.
Only
but you got to have
minute.
friends like that, though.
Right.
Who reel you in, like, okay, you can vent.
Yeah.
You can fuss. You can cuss.
Okay. I'll let you be down for a little bit.
Okay, now the therapy session is over.
Game time.
Yeah, game time. Let's get
game time. Yes.
That's real.
It is very real. And
but again, perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
You know, where you can be imperfect.
Yeah.
But have these relationships where you can just be you.
Right.
Be honest. Be vulnerable.
Transparency. Right.
I think that's a real testament of friendship. When we can put our guards down and say, look, this is what I'm going through. Right. You know, being really honest and not ashamed.
No.
That's when I think for me, people like, so who's your friend, this and that. That's when I know when we rolling.
Yeah.
When I can show you these war wounds and these scars and these stretch marks. You know, when I can show you these not so pretty things.
Right.
And I know you still gonna love me the same and not hold it against me. You know?
And we're gonna keep moving forward, and we gonna listen, and we gonna have this session. And then we're going to say, okay, now, what we doing? Where we at?
Yeah.
We got to keep pushing. Yeah. We got to keep moving. What's up next? What's the game plan? What I need to do to get you where you need to be? What you need to do to get me to where we need to be? Because we can only suck in this so long. We can't let the devil tap dance on our head too long. We got to show him. Hold on.
No, we give them too much power.
We can't give you that much power.
The more time you give the devil, the more power you really give.
Absolutely.
Him. But I have a question for you. Yes. Because our time is almost up.
Already?
All the time.
Oh,
you know
my
we can
God.
run out. If you look back at 2018,
okay,
describe it in one word.
Ooh.
One word you got to pick. As you think, I will give you my one word. This year for me has been a year of uncertainty. Uh-huh. So uncertain. And it's shocking that that's my word because I'm a pretty decisive person. Uh-huh. I make up my mind quick. I know the repercussions. I know the rewards. If I do this, this could happen. But if I do this, this could happen. Mm-hmm. But this has been a year of uncertainty for me where I find myself making decisions saying, did I do the right thing? Yeah. I'm normally not a backpedaler.
Yeah.
You know, but I found myself this year doing a lot of backpedaling. Mm-hmm. Not like I would, change my mind, but I find myself second guessing myself way too much. Uh-huh. And I think it's because I've been in a awkward position because growing pains.
Yes.
So when your shoes get too small, you start limping. You start walking with a limp because they start to hurt. Right. Or when you're in some too tight jeans because you're growing. Right. You're uncomfortable. Right. And I think the uncertainty comes from being uncomfortable, being in awkward positions. So if I describe 2018, uncertain.
For me, I would say shift.
Shift.
Yes. And I say shift because in 2018, I went into my second year of being a full-time entrepreneur. And my business has went through some highs. It's went through some lows. I understand. I feel like now more of the dynamics of my business and my customers, their needs. And then in my personal life, I feel like God is shifting me into a different season with my family and my family dynamics, my family unit. My husband works overseas, and God, I feel like, is taking us through a shift of us becoming more together as one unit. Instead of my husband here and me there and Chase here, and we're doing the rat race and we're playing the cue balls. And I feel like God is shifting my business. He's shifting me. He's shifting where he's taking me. And I feel like in that shift, there's becoming a stretch. Mm-hmm. And in that stretch, he's saying, but do you trust me? But do you trust me? And yes, I do. I don't have nothing else. Right. It's just me and you. So I feel like in this season, I'm in a shift. That he's taking me in a shift. And I'm rolling.
Well, we're going to see what this shift is like. Yeah. 2019. Uh-huh. We only have what's today's date?
The 20th. So we have
41 days.
41 days.
So our time is up. Talk Tuesday.
It's too quick.
I know. Candice Easley.
Man. Thank you guys so much for having me. I always love coming. I always love talking. I'll be back.
Of course. More of her at the retreat. Good night.
Good night.